Good day, this is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. Welcome to another episode of VA government foreclosures. And I'm going to focus on the Central Florida market. So without further ado, let's proceed. And although under this week's listing of December, the first week of December, there are a number of cash flow properties that are available for qualified investors with 5% down VA Vendy financing. I'm talking about, yes, the best value is 5% down and with positive cash flow, and everything else will make this a potentially very good investment. Okay, so under the this week's listing in Central Florida, there are quite a few. I'm not, if I talk about it, if I talk about each property, it'll take forever, right? So I'm going to highlight one property, and of course there are at least 4 or 5 VA foreclosure properties, kind of similar to this main presentation on this particular property. I'm going to show you all the details about it, but uh, but I want to focus on this one only because I feel this is the best one. So anyway, I expect this property just came. The listing date was November 27th, which is only a few days ago. So this is a brand new listing. So of course you're competing against the other potentially home buyers in the Orlando local market, as well as competing against maybe several real estate investors in other part of the country or even the world. So this is to me, my initial research and observation is such that this is a very, very desirable property for the reasons I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so 449 Glastonbury Drive, Orlando, Florida 32825 is listed for 225K. Uh, right, so my first, when I do this research, everything looks good. You know, built in 2010, 1,864 square foot, 3 bedroom, 2.5 baths. So we have to determine this is a good location, have a lot of great potential, which clearly Central Florida is one of my forte, and I know this market very well. And Jean Gillum, one of my Central Florida network realtor, she's been helping us, our investors, with Central Florida for a number of years. So with that in mind, so what I look for is something close to the 1% rule, right? 1% multiplied by a purchase price, equals the monthly gross rent or close to it, to the 1% rule. Slightly less than 1% rules, that could be fine, like 0.75% or 0.880% or 1%. The purchase price may also achieve cash flow. So it's all about positive cash flow first and foremost, with a minimal down investment. So then I look at the rental meter in the area within the uh, homes in the surrounding 3 mile radius are being rented for the rental comp, as you see here. So let's focus on a comparable rental comp. This property, located very, very close by, is almost 1,800 square foot. So that would be the best uh, apple to apple comparison. Is rented for 1,700. So let me see. There's no other property that are this large and this good location that are renting for this much that I could see. So all right. So that's what we look at, right? And now when I click on the Zillow, right, on the address, then the Zillow shows the rental comp is almost 1,800. So that's what I would go with. All right. So $1,800 potentially monthly gross rent in an extremely very good area, and I'll tell you why I feel this is a good area, because again, this is only my initial research, but I think I'm right. My intuition is correct. The location of this area is very close to this community college, which is only a mere few blocks away. So any kind of property still located to a college or university is very, very desirable. It's located to this 2-year college, Valencia College, very, very few blocks away. So And then furthermore, I'm not 100% correct, but according to this map, is very close to the University of Central Florida. I'm not sure whether it's the main campus or not, but even if it's not the main campus, it's again, it's only like within a couple of miles away. So whenever you have a property that located close to a major university, then it's additionally a good sign, other than the other infrastructures that are already in place in the neighborhoods. And this is a very smack in the middle of the Central Florida, only like a few miles to the east of the downtown Orlando. So again, based on my knowledge of presenting Central Florida for my investors for many years, and I'm sure we can Jim Gillum and other people on the ground will validate my belief. So clearly, this property is in an excellent location. So let's look at the property itself. I mean, this is bear in mind, this is a foreclosed property, but you wouldn't know by looking at it. So at 225K. So let me show you quickly the 18 pictures. Outside looks like a spanking new. It's built in 2010. So we have to determine what is the estimated rehab cost that a investor such as yourself could have to incur in addition to pay the 5% down. But we will go over the cash flow analysis momentarily. But let's look at the interior of the property. This is obviously the living room. Looks like it's very turnkey. I mean, they upgraded, they fixed the property, they cleaned it out. So looks very nice, very spacious living room, and a very spacious, we're talking 1,800 square foot. So the kitchen, very nicely done, modern fixtures, everything's there. It's just very clean. Even the rug looks clean. I don't know how much rehab cost that you need to incur, but not so much. I projected around 5,000, if that, maybe just. So here's some of the other bedrooms. One of the 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. Very nice. Some of you may not like the pictures on the wall. You may, clean that out. But that's a very cosmetic repairs. So we can only assume that's the case. So the rehab cost will be very low, unless I could be wrong, but the backyard seems okay. If you look from the overhead, it's a very nice design. It's just it's a good neighborhood, very new property, very contemporary, modern, construction. Look at the neighborhood. Looks very nice. I mean, it's just a typical cookie cutter, family oriented neighborhood. So we have to believe this going to rent well. So $1,800 monthly rent is a pretty reasonable estimation. So many people would love to rent this particular house. The neighborhood seems okay, really okay. All right. So yeah, everything looks good from that perspective. According to Zillow, $1,800 monthly rent. School district numerical rating, yeah, it's okay. A 3 to 5 rating, typical of Florida. And again, we're not going to rely on any one research company dictate our decision. But according to the Zillow, this is a seller's market. Zillow predict this zip code of this property may rise 5% in the next 12 months, but who knows? Okay, so good location, very good property. So everything looks good from that perspective. And then finally, let's look at my projection, my cash flow analysis on this particular property. So this is critical, right? So 225K, you might want to bid a little bit higher to get rid of few other competition if you were to submit an offer to the VA, Veterans Administration, government via foreclosure. So again, the value of these venti financings as an investor, you can qualify with 5% down, assuming you have good credit, assuming you have 2 years of rental property experience. Then you put 5% down, which is $11,275 minus closing costs, and regular closing costs another $5,000, and then the rehab costs is just the estimation, another $5,000 for rehab costs out of your pocket. This is That's the way this system works. So the total potentially out of pocket is estimated to be a little bit less than 23 grand. So there's a good value. It's all about leverage, right? Using the leverage of investment loans, other people's money, use the mortgage to finance your wealth. So, and the estimated rent is 1,800. Vacancy rate is 5% that are estimated down, and then the maintenance on an annual basis at probably 2% because it's a very new property. So if you minus the property taxes on a monthly basis, it's around 200. Again, everything's just the estimation, right? The actual figures are we will not know until the experience. You go through the actual ownership experience, but again, this is merely an assumption. Property taxes per month, $200. So pretty good property tax rate in Florida, a mere around 1%. Insurance, $80 per month, not so bad. Property management fee at 8%. Property management fee, of course, we have the property management available with potentially Realty Medics, the company that Gene Gillum recommends over many years to our investor. There's an HOA fee for $153, and I'm not going to talk about what are the details, but that's so they want to maintain the community. That's fine. You get what you pay for. All right, so $1,800 monthly rent. So the cap rate is, as you can see, is almost 6%. But most important thing is the total return on your investment, which is 39%. How I figured that out, I put down 2% annual appreciation, right? Which is a very low projection given this, the growth of Central Florida. And then, so therefore your mortgage, taxes, insurance, property management fee, and all the other vacancy costs and maintenance equals to $1,100. Your monthly mortgage with the VA is the rate was really good. I mean, the current rate for as an investor for the VA Venti financing mortgage is only 4.25%. For your monthly mortgage is $1,054. So you achieve positive cash flow of $50. So at least technically it's positive cash flow. So that's a win. That's a good attractive investment based on the potential long-term appreciation. I don't like to talk appreciation too much, but Central Florida, a lot of this indicates the economic indicators boast well for long-term due to various factors. Okay, so that's pretty much it I have for this presentation. Again, there are other properties listed that we can always talk about for those of you working with me. Of course, you have to pay a upfront fee to get into this VA foreclosure system. But again, this is the highlight of today's presentation, this week's presentation. Although there are other similar property throughout Florida, Central Florida, that you could potentially do with 5% down. So that's the value of using the VA foreclosure buying system for investors. So there are quite a few properties. I'm not going to go over it, but there are 4 pages. Of course, not all of them qualify to meet our criteria. So with that in mind, if you're interested in our system, our process, of course, feel free to contact me, Seewing Yee. Otherwise, look forward to helping each and every one of you. Thank you so much. This is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. So let me just exit. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.